Hey everyone, last time we did your first guitar lesson. Guess what follows the first guitar lesson? Your second lesson. So coming up, here we go. Hey everyone, Paul Zagorski here, PZ Guitar, your virtual practice partner. We're practicing. You know what? Practice is an important thing for a beginner guitar player. It's an important thing for anyone, is to be able to practice, to be able to do the things that initially take a lot of your mental CPU and get them to be on autopilot. And so that's what practice is. You're teaching your fingers how to do things. You're toughening up your fingers so that they don't hurt. And all the things that beginners have to go through. So in lesson number 1, we did the following. Oh, by the way, don't be alarmed by the towel here. It's so warm in the house. I'm sweating like a pig. I just want to preserve the finish on the guitar here a little bit. So I'm just using a little bit of a towel here. So don't worry about that. On lesson number 1, we used these 2 fingers, and we did an E minor chord, and we did an A sus chord. So today, we're going to do an E minor chord, A sus chord, and we're going to do the A major chord. Now, you just heard me say E minor and now A major. Major and minor chords, they're just names. Major chords are not more important than minor chords. Minor chords are just as important as major chords. It's just a name. It shows the relationship of the intervals of the notes that comprise the chord. That's what all that the name is, as opposed to suspended or 7 or major 7, minor 7. It tells you how the chord is particularly constructed. So here we have E minor, using the same fingers as we used last week. The fingers 1 and 2, 2nd fret, and now we shift things down to the D and G string. Now for the A major chord, all we're going to do is, using the same fingers that we have right now, we're going to plop our ring finger down on the 2nd fret. Everyone's on the 2nd fret. Here's sus, and here's A major. So that's going to be our chord. This is going to be our chord. So let's do 4 strums on E minor and 4 strums on A, and go back and forth a few times. Okay, nice and slow, because it may take a little bit of an effort to get all three fat fingers, especially for me, fat fingers scrunched down in this little area here. I'll show you a trick for that later. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Back. E minor. A. Back to E minor. So one of the things I had mentioned very briefly in lesson number 1 is that there are sometimes I'm also giving you a little bit of a break for your fingers right now. It's important to utilize different finger patterns on the fretboard here for different chords, or even for the same chord, because it depends on what chord you're going to be playing next versus what chord you just came from. And it's important to be able to adjust your playing according to the situation at hand. My preferred method of playing the A major chord is not using fingers 1, 2, and 3. It's not what I prefer. So let's now use fingers 2 and 3 for the E minor, and now let's move those fingers down for the A sus and use our pinky as the other string. Using your pinky has an upside and has a downside. The upside is that now I feel like there's a little bit more room to get all 3 fingers on the 2nd fret on those strings, as opposed to fingers 1, 2, and 3. It's cramped. It's clown car cramped. But if I use the pinky instead of the other finger, there's a little bit more room. The downside is, well, it's the pinky. It's probably your weakest finger, and it's probably the one that you have the least amount of aim with, and it's probably, it's the least utilized. But you're going to have to learn how to use it anyway. There are some chords that require a pinky. So this would be a good way of doing this. That, I think, is an improvement over using fingers 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes there's buzzing, as this was buzzing. My index finger is so far back behind the fret, it just buzzes. So my preferred way of playing the A major chord is, I'm going to start with my index finger. I'm going to put it on the G string, finger number 1, string number 3, 2nd fret. Use my middle finger, finger number 2, on the 2nd fret on the D string, and use my ring finger on the B string. I like this much better because all 3 fingers are as close to the fret as possible. There's very little chance of buzzing. And now, if I want to go back between this chord and the A and the E minor, my ring finger stays on the board, and I move my index finger around. And if I go back to the A major chord, I tuck hammer in, the middle finger stays there, and I put the other 2 fingers down. As a matter of fact, that is a great little 1-minute change just to do this. That is a great way of practicing it. And you know what? There are lots of different ways of playing the A chord. You can play the A chord where you can use a little bit of a bar. And it works well with the E minor. This is much more of an advanced technique. But remember, this is our 2nd lesson here. So I would suggest you use fingers 2 and 3. And then use your pinky for the A chord. Okay, so let's now do our 4 downstrums of E minor, 4 downstrums of A, 4 downstrums of E minor, 4 downstrums of A. I'm going to use fingers 2 and 3. Switch. Switch. And let's do 1 E minor. So that's basically that's our new chord here, is the A. And one of the things that you can do with the A, I can start with the A sus and put in the middle of the strum. I can rock back and forth between the A suspended and the A major, and it adds color. It adds a little bit of sonic interest. It spices things up. So, and that's another thing that you can practice here is just practice between the A sus and the A. Get that pinky, in this particular case, used to doing some work for a change. If you want to use the fingers 1, 2, and 3, if you want to use my method, or the preferred method, fingers 2, 1, 3. There you go. So that's lesson number 2. We're going to go from E minor to A. And so we're going to do a bunch more, and so we'll do we're going to start doing some of the kings of the cowboy chords here, D and E. So coming up. So I hope you found some value into this series. Leave a comment. hit the bell to be notified, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I would appreciate it, especially leaving comments as to what things you might be having problems with, or how you want to practice, or how you need to practice, or what you're having problems practice, whatever the question is, because you're probably not alone, and I'm just here to help. So I'll see you next time. Keep practicing, and I'll see you soon. Hey everyone, up here is going to be a video that you might want to watch next, or down here could be a playlist that could be of interest. So I suggest that you either click here, or click both. It's up to you. But in either case, I'll see you soon.